Under a dark sky on Friday night, Donald Trump warned in no uncertain terms that if the peace talks over Ukraine fall apart, we could soon be staring down the barrel of a conflict unlike any before, a new World War III sparked by nuclear fire. Can you imagine a world lit up by a fearsome, unseen force? His words carried the weight of a storm about to break, each syllable heavy with the promise of chaos. In a tense conversation at the Justice Department, Trump repeated, almost as if on a loop, I think we have it, but this could lead to World War III very easily. He paused, letting the idea hang in the air, a reminder that a single misstep might bring about a war so fierce that its very name would send shivers down our spines. But I think we're in pretty good shape, he added, comparing today's state to a darker past where things were far worse. His message was clear: without careful steps, we might be stepping into a fight armed with nuclear weapons and other dangers we'd rather not even picture. Trump continued by pointing out that since taking office, many hurdles had been cleared. In hushed tones mixed with resolve, he explained how he had been in direct talks with the Russian leader, working to end the strife once and for all. I think we're doing well with Russia. We're speaking with President Putin. We want to get the war over, he said, as if the future itself rested on those delicate negotiations. The air was thick with the promise of peace, a promise that came with a catch. Adding another twist to the tale, he mentioned that perhaps around $350 billion had flowed into Europe, an amount that some experts say might be a bit on the high side. Yet, he confidently spoke of a deal in the works where he would see that money returned. We had some very good calls today with Russia, and with Ukraine, he noted, they've agreed to a ceasefire if we can get it with Russia. And it's not easy. It's a tough one. One can almost hear the tension in his voice as he balanced hope with the hard truth of the situation. In a moment that felt almost like a boast, Trump claimed that if he had been in charge from the start, this very war might never have flared up. There would have been no war, he insisted, as if rewinding the clock could have erased the threats of nuclear disaster. This bold assertion, echoing through the marble halls of the Justice Department, was a reminder of the high stakes involved, a call to look back and wonder what might have been. This appearance was historic in its own right. It marked the first time in a decade that a president had set foot inside the Justice Department, last seen when Barack Obama attended Attorney General Eric Holder's farewell. The atmosphere was charged with memories of the past and the heavy expectations for the future. Was history about to repeat itself, or would a new chapter finally begin? Meanwhile, on the battlefront near Kursk, the drama took another turn. As Ukrainian troops faced overwhelming odds, Vladimir Putin urged them to surrender, promising that their lives would be spared and treated with dignity. Moscow's forces had swept back most of the land that Kyiv had once held in its bold cross-border move last August, a counterattack that had rattled many. We are sympathetic to President Trump's call, Putin declared on live TV, adding that a proper order from Ukraine's military leaders was the missing piece for this plan to work. The scene was set for a showdown with lives hanging in the balance. On social media, Trump had already sent out a plea, an urgent call to President Putin to avoid what he described as a horrible massacre, one that would mark a tragedy not seen since World War II. Despite Kyiv's denial that any units were trapped, President Zelensky admitted that conditions in Kursk were very tough. The tension was palpable, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. Earlier that day, in a long-winded yet defiant speech at the Justice Department, Trump celebrated what he called a proud new chapter. He declared an end to years of corruption and the misuse of government power, promising to restore fairness and justice for all. Yet beneath the talk of a fresh start lay a familiar tune of triumph over his political foes, with barbed remarks aimed at those who had once tried to bring him down, especially his old rival, Joe Biden. In a moment that mixed anger with a touch of humor, Trump admitted that the cases against him were complete bulls, even breaking his promise to his wife, Melania, about not using bad words. I will not use a bad word, he had said, only to follow it up with a candid, if crude, remark about the charges. This blend of defiance and personal vendetta has been part of his show from the start, a performance that keeps everyone wondering, what will he do next?